Hello, I'm Travis Scott. I'm here with my partner, Gregor Carter, owners of I.J.S.T. We're here today to enlighten you guys on what we have going on. We've started I.J.S.T. Foundation, which is our charity foundation. Today we're here with our first recipient, Ms. Shelia Hogan. Our first event is a Golf for a Cause charity event. And today we're kind of explaining what the event is about, what it's for, and also gives us a chance for you guys to meet our first recipient. With that being said, I'll turn it over to my partner, Gregory.
Cool, appreciate it, Travis. And like my partner said, it's on Father's Day. I.J.S.T. Golf for a Cause, benefiting families that's going through cancer. And, we're just glad that we got Ms. Hogan here as our first recipient, and glad to have her sit down with us and tell us her story. Why we're doing this again is, I'm going on 5 years cancer-free right now, and my partner Travis' brother died of cancer in 1996, and we want to really, raise awareness on Father's Day and have everyone invite their family out and give back. Not only, besides have fun, but give back for the cause while we raise money to donate for a real good cause. We got Ms. Hogan here, and we thank her for again for coming out. And we're just gonna go right in asking her a couple of questions and have her tell you her story. How you doing today, Ms. Hogan?
I'm doing great. Thank you for this opportunity.
Good, thank you.
Thank you for coming. Just give us a little background on yourself, and what you're battling, and when did you find out about that you were diagnosed with breast cancer?
Okay, I found out about breast cancer in April of 2011, and mine was found basically through a self-check. As women, once you start going to the doctor, although you're asked to do mammogram annually or every 2 years, depending on your age and your family history. We also are encouraged to do our own self-check, and I do mine monthly. And I did 1 month, and I found the knot myself. And I checked it again. The knot wasn't there. Of course, I felt like, okay, this is something playing on me. I know it's there. I felt it. And my first instinct was, when I checked again and I found it, the knot was hard, and that told me something's not normal about a hard knot in your body.
And I know, I can imagine the feeling. Like I said, I'm going on cancer-free 5 years now. And when I found out initially, I was like, oh man, why? I had the why me, pity about myself, but I eventually got over it. But tell us, what was your initial reaction when you found out that it was cancer when you went and got checked out?
Well, having the knowledge about cancer, you always have that little fear, and I had to tell myself, fear is the worst part, but also it's the best part, because now you know. And your next step is what I do from here. My concern at that point was my family.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I had dealt with people, not in my family, but co-workers or people from my church that have gone through it. And my thing was, okay, go ahead, go to the doctor, take your next step, and do what you got to do so you can let your family know and you can ease their worry, because that's one thing. Those are the people that's there that have to take care of you.
Absolutely.
And they have to have that worry-free mind. Well, I say worry-free, but what I'm saying is, you think about it a lot, and they're going to think about it, because they don't know what you're going through. So I have to tell them and give them the steps that I'm going through to make sure that they're there for me.
No, everything's gonna be okay.
Right, and let them know. My first thing was put it in God's hand. I definitely went to God first.
Yes, ma'am.
And prayed about it and said, just guide me so I can guide others, and I felt comfortable with that.
Absolutely, great, and I'm glad. And that's what you got to do, because I know that's how I was. I prayed about it. We called the youth pastor and gave it to God first, and just went on from there. It was strong, and like you said, when people see the person that's going through it strong, it eases their comfort by that, or she's gonna be all right. So
I don't know if you have children or not, but your children tend to worry when they see something wrong with the parent.
Yes, ma'am.
Exactly. On the flip side of my situation, it was my mother's child, so it was the parent worried about the child.
Right.
So, you know, just like you said, for somebody else dealing with it, you know, it's like magnified that much more. You know?
Right.
Not only are you concerned about your own well-being, but you know, the well-being of your loved ones.
Right,
So,
right.
I know exactly what you mean.
And we interviewing you, but we know we want you to also be an advocate. So, you know, my next question is, you know, what advice, you know, because like you said, you got to be strong. So for somebody that's watching this video, right, that's watching this video interview, and they've just been diagnosed with cancer, what advice you got? What advice would you give them, Ms. Hogan?
The first advice I would give you would be, you know, grab onto someone that has a Christian background. First of all, you may or may not think about God when things going on, but that person, whether it be a parent, a person from your church, a co-worker, someone that you know believes in God, they can guide you to that. My first step, which is pray about it. You know, go to God, and you got to put it in God's hand, because once you do that, you got to believe that you have that guidance.
Yes, ma'am.
And once you get there, you know, you can go on and move on, and these people are moving with you because you're really educating them and they're learning.
Absolutely.
You know, and you know, there's nothing better than learning. The best thing is, I can tell people is, whether it's hit you, your family, or anybody you know, educate yourself now, because sooner or later, somebody you know somewhere will be dealing with this.
Absolutely.
And it depends on your relationship with them, how well you deal with it or deal with helping them.
You're right, and that's great, and that's great advice. Just, you know, definitely pray about it and get to someone that has that Christian background. But luckily, I had it in my mom, and one of the biggest things advice I would give, you know, is mindset. And I know you're the same way, Miss Hogan. It was mindset, knowing and picturing myself, my old healthy self,
Right.
my old healthy self, how I used to be. And keeping that in my mind, and that really helped me. Move forward. Yeah, so how are things going with you now? How you feeling now?
Right now, I'm feeling great. I'm feeling great, and I try to start that way every day.
Yes, ma'am.
I have people at work sometimes, even students, when they come up and they say, "How are you this morning?" My first thing is I'm great. And one person came to me one day and asked me, "Why do you always say you're great?" I said, "You always want to start up here.
Yes,
And then
ma'am.
if you come down, you're aware that you're coming down. You're also aware if you're letting people bring you down. And that's when you got that wall built, well, hey, I'm going to stay up here." It doesn't work all the time. It doesn't work all the time.
No, it definitely doesn't. Because I know, because it's the drugs, you know, and the
Right.
drugs have your attitude differently.
Exactly.
Some days you want to deal with people, some days you really just want to be by yourself. So I know exactly what
You know, when you got those people that really once they get to that understanding, you know, although they don't feel what you're going through, they don't always know. You know, you talk to people. You know, one thing my doctors advised me when I went, you know, a lot of women do this. They used to take care of everyone except themselves on a daily basis. She said, turn it loose. Let them go to the grocery store for you. Let them go to medicine. Let them do it. And I did.
Yes.
And I mean, every time I got advice, I just let it go. You know, I took that, you know, in stride, and I just did what they said, and I did. I mean, I had people going for me, stuff I'd never done before. And you know, and the thing is, they were happy to do it. They were really happy because I told them what the doctor had said.
Yeah.
You know, so you know, you need to go to the store. You know, I'll make the list. You need to do this, and you know, fix dinner. You know, and people were just doing stuff for me all the time.
Yes, ma'am.
And when you do that, I feel like, you know, the stress is off for you. You're not worried about what you need to do, and people didn't mind.
Because it's a family fight. It's a family fight.
Exactly.
And you also find out quick who's in your corner too.
Exactly.
That was one thing, you know. You know, my family found out, was like, you know, when you're dealing with an ailment like that, you know, you may call on certain people, and you know, they may not answer the call sometimes. But I think you definitely find out who's in your corner when, you know, stuff like this happens.
Right, because I had people just waiting for me to finish chemo. Some ladies at my church, they scheduled a trip to Nags Head, North Carolina. I never heard of that. I didn't know North Carolina had an island outside of the city, but they took me there for a week. I mean, I had a trip to just places I've never been. Chicago. I flew for the first time to D.C. in my life.
Nice.
And then I flew to Chicago like 6 months later by myself.
Oh, cool.
And then I had, you know, a trip to DC, and then I did, when I got there, they did a road trip to Pennsylvania, Hershey, Pennsylvania, you know, place I've never been, I've gotten to because of people that really, really care.
Really care and giving back and family. And that's the strongest thing you gotta have. You gotta have
Right.
a family. That's why we say we're not giving back to one person, the person that's battling cancer, but we're giving back to the family because not only, you know, we go through it, you know, the families go through it. My mom had to take leave of absence
Right.
from work, so it affects more than just one person.
Exactly.
And speaking of that, you know, how do you think a monetary donation would help a family going through cancer?
Well, monetary donation will help in a lot of ways. First, you have financial. I mean, if not your home, even, you know, you have doctors. Even though you have insurance, you gotta have medicine, you have doctors.
Absolutely.
You have family that's traveling there. In fact, my son-in-law, Mike, and his wife, she's a nurse.
Yes.
She even did travel nursing. And they actually moved their family to Macon, where I live, and stayed there throughout my whole thing. And she worked at everything the whole time. She would leave her job, come to the hospital, home where I was, and work with, you know, do what I had to do. And she made sure everybody else did what they had to do. You know, because even not going through cancer, you know, after cancer, you know, in my situation, I had a situation that came where I had to have a nurse come in because of an incident that my body went through, you know, doing my treatment and stuff.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, where one of my incisions bursted. And instead of going through and sewing it up again, I had to be packed and repacked every day
Okay.
for like almost 7 weeks.
Wow.
And then you know, even like my son-in-law's sister, she was a nurse there.
Yeah.
And when Harriet couldn't come or they had to run back to Atlanta, she was there for me.
Mm-hmm.
She came in, I had a nurse from my church, so 7 days a week. I had home health care for so many days.
Mm-hmm.
And then the days they didn't come, then that's when the other people fell in. But you know, and these people are doing stuff free of charge, leaving family. They gotta come, they gotta have somewhere to stay.
Yes,
You know,
ma'am.
like I said, you know, they brought their kids,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and you know, your diet changes. You know, you gotta have gas money. It's just so many ways you could help, you know, financially help people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and this is just a nice gesture to always be ready to do that.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. And I agree wholeheartedly. It's so many like when I'm going through chemo and radiation, you meet people from everywhere because the best hospitals are only, you know, in certain areas,
Right.
and people have to fly in, drive in.
Right.
So I know exactly what you mean. And you said you haven't, you know, our tournament, Father's Day tournament for you is on Father's Day, June 16th,
Right.
and you having surgery on the 19th.
Right.
Could
Following
you tell
that,
us a
I will
little
be
bit about
having, yes, I will be having surgery, and I feel good about the surgery
Thank
because
you.
it's to me it's like a sealant. You know, it's sealing everything that you've gone through. Hopefully, it's my final surgery is what I call it because it is called the, you know, reconstruction. And reconstruction, even though you've gone through chemo and radiation, reconstruction, you know, it's detailed in a lot of things. So you've got to go, you know, you have the surgery, but then, you know, you've got to go back and forth to the doctor because a lot of stuff still has to be done afterwards. So, you know, I may spend a lot more time traveling and doing reconstruction than I did even doing chemo and radiation.
Oh man, well, you know, our prayers are with you when you do go into surgery, and we know you're gonna have a speedy recovery. And on Father's Day, we look forward to having you out there and, you know, and swinging the golf club. Have you ever swung a golf club before?
Never. My passion is tennis. My passion is tennis.
Okay.
But, you know, whatever we can do to encourage people to come out and support this cause because, you know, from what we're doing here today, I know you all are looking forward to doing it year after year and on other
Yes, ma'am.
occasions and helping people out. And it's really a great gesture and I'm sure people will appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am.
And we would appreciate it, even, you know, asking people, bring your kids out. If they've never played golf, you know, bring them out. This is a chance. Because when I was growing up, you know, and a lot of people don't like telling their age. I will be 58 in June, right after Father's Day. I'm looking forward to that birthday. That's the thing about breast cancer. it's like happy birthday. Everybody, they're pushing their birthday thing because everybody's looking forward to the next birthday.
Yes.
And you know, when they get out there and they swing that golf cart, when I was growing up, you know, as blacks, we didn't get an opportunity to play tennis and to play golf. And when we got into it, we thought, oh, that's the most expensive thing in the world. But you know, you had to learn how to, hey, okay, this is something I want to enjoy life doing. You know, and those are some things that you can do, you know, to your 90, you know, however long you live, you know, you could do it, but I will give it a shot, you know, and encourage people to bring your kids because you want them to grow up to be able to enjoy sports that, you know, our moms and grandmoms and stuff didn't get to do a lot of times because blacks didn't get to do that.
Exactly.
You know, when they did, and now, you know, you want your kids to take that. And I think golf is great because I see people enjoy it. You know, like I enjoy tennis. It's just not my sport, but you know, I can learn to get into it if that's what I have to do to encourage people to give back to help other people. And I know my family appreciates this.
And we look forward to meeting them as well on Father's Day.
Okay.
And thank you again. We want to you know, thank y'all for tuning in and look for a link on the bottom of this video to be able to donate. If you can't come out on Father's Day, June 16th at Southland Golf Course Country Club in Stone Mountain. You know, we also going to have, starting at 3 p.m., we're also going to have different ways for you to, you know, to donate to Miss Hogan as she goes through her battle with breast cancer. You got anything, Trav?
Like again, I would just like to thank you, thank my partner Greg, and thank the cameraman, Mr. Mike L.
We appreciate you, Mike, man. We really do appreciate you for you know, shooting this for us. And you know, we're gonna wrap it at that. You know, we look forward to seeing everybody come out Father's Day for the I.J.S.T. first annual Father's Day Golf for a Cause event. And you know, until next time.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying though.